If there's one thing we all do in Escape from Tarkov all the time, it's get shot at and have to heal. And while there are a few medical items that are kind of considered meta, that are considered standard, I think there's something that's been in the game the whole time that might have way more uses than people give it credit for. I'm Jessekazam. Welcome back to another Escape from Tarkov video. If you like this video, think about dropping a like, commenting down below, or subscribing to the channel for more content like this. I stream Escape from Tarkov on Twitch. All my links will be down below. I'd love to have you stop by and say hey. But with all this stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right in. So, of course, in this video, we are talking about the Grizzly Med Kit. Now, this has been in the game for forever. A lot of these mechanics have been in the game for forever. And a lot of you guys know this stuff. The healing system is simple. We learn it really, really quickly. But if you hang with me, I think that there's actually a case to be made that this could be used a lot more than people really do use it currently. I think it's pretty effective if we kind of dive in. So, of course, you've got your normal healing items. You've got the hemostat because the heavy bleeds are devastating when they made that change. I kind of like that. You've got your splint that a lot of times people will just bring an ALU splint in their gamma container or secure container. And then you've got your health and meds. Now, of course, we all know that what makes the Grizzly really interesting is that it does everything. It heals fractures. It does the heavy and light bleeds. It removes contusion, which is kind of cool. I didn't even really realize that, which is kind of when you get headshot and your vision gets blurry and all that sound and stuff like that. And it's really obvious when you take a look at it face value why the Grizzly could be a really good idea, because 1800 HP is insane. I mean, when you look at like the space, this is 400, 2 Saluas would be 800, and that's not even half of what the Grizzly has to offer. So, but it's really simple that everybody can kind of see this and go, oh, that's really cool. But nobody really uses these. And there's a few reasons, I think. The biggest reason is going to be that the use time, it's a 5-second animation, which feels like an eternity when you're in raid. And traditionally, they're more expensive meds. The Grizzlies are normally around the 38 for like a brand new one. If we go like 90% condition or above, they're in the 38 to 50,000 ruble range, depending on just like when you get them, kind of when you're looking. Versus a Salua you can buy from therapists for like 23,000 rubles. The IFAKs are ever plentiful because of the raiders. You can get these for 11,000 rubles. The AFAKs are new. They're not very great as far as value is concerned, but they're really cool because they have 400. It's like a Salua, but in a single slot, which is super nice. These ALU splints are cheap, and the hemostats are cheap. Hemostats 4,000 rubles. ALU splints are 16,000 rubles. 5 fractures, 3 heavy bleeds, boom. So a lot of times people will take the cheaper meds that take less space to use and have shorter use times, which is understandable, right? Because we don't always have rigs that have 4 slots that you want to take up for a med, which is very understandable. And the 5-second use time feels pretty long. Now, when you take a look at basically all of these meds, they all have a 3-second use time. The ALU splint, 3 seconds. The hemostat, 3 seconds. The IFAK, the AFAK, the Salua, it's all 3 seconds. So when you kind of break it down, it's only 2 additional seconds for the Grizzly, and it's accomplishing potentially more than one thing at a time. So we can start to look at a little bit of a deeper dive of why the Grizzly could be of super viable medical first aid kit to run. So not only does it do all these things, but it can do them at the same time. So if you have a fractured leg, you can just hit heal on your leg and it will heal the fracture and it will heal the entire leg as well. So in that instance, you've taken a 3-second use time plus a 3-second use time, which is a 6-second, and broken it down into just one single 5-second use time. That's accomplished both things. It can heal a ton. It's not displayed here, but these each have a max heal. Like a Salua has a max heal of 50, which means something like your thorax. If your thorax gets down to like 10 durability or 10 health, you would have to heal it twice with an IFAK. A Salua has a max heal of 85, which means it can basically heal anything, and the Grizzly has a max heal of 175, which is super interesting. So 175. So that can heal anything as well. So you're being able to, in a lot of cases, do double duty, whether you're healing a light bleed, a heavy bleed, or a fracture. You have the ability to do those things and heal the limb that's associated with it. And it's very obvious it has 1800 HP, so you can use this for a really long time. Interestingly enough, this actually also has the lowest hit for healing a heavy bleed. If you look at a Salua, it takes 175 HP to heal a heavy bleed, which means you can only heal 2, and then that's basically burnt. The IFAK has a 210 HP hit for heavy bleeds, which means you can only heal 1, and you've basically burnt that. And the AFAK has a 170, which means you can heal 2 heavy bleeds, and that's burnt if you run out of your hemostats. Well, there's less of a reason to bring hemostats or splints into a raid, because this actually has the lowest HP hit for a heavy bleed, and it's got 1800 HP, which means you can use these. So the value proposition here is not just that it does everything. It's also that it has so much durability, and if you're surviving raids, you can use these multiple raids in a row. If we kind of go back and start looking at the prices, like we said, the Grizzly's about, if we're looking in the 90% range, about 50K, somewhere in there, 38 to 50K. The IFAKs, like we said, are about 10 or 11. The AFAKs sit around, if you're looking for them in the fresh, about 30K, and the Saluas are about 25K. You can find them a little bit below. And when you break that down, that means that the Grizzly has the lowest ruble per heal, right? If you're associating a cost with one, heal, 1 out of 1, then the IFAK is around 30 to 40. The AFAK is around 77, and the Salua is about 57 rubles per heal, and the Grizzly sits at 21 rubles per heal. So it is a little bit more expensive up front, and of course you run the risk of, if you just go in and die, then you're spending a lot of money on Grizzlies. But if you're surviving your raids, it's something that can accomplish everything, has way higher of a durability, is technically cheaper if you use this all the way down towards 0, and can potentially save you time. The time saving is it's a plus and a minus. If you just need to heal an arm, then you're going to be wasting time with that extra 2 seconds. If you need to heal a fracture in an arm, well, you're going to be saving time because you don't have to do 2 animations, you can only do 1. Now, I have to bring up, there currently is kind of a way to cheese the animation, where once you get about halfway through the animation and you can hear the feedback of yourself healing, you can left click and cancel the rest of the animation, and he just puts it back early and you get that heal. Now that only works if the Grizzly is healing one thing as opposed to multiple things. If it's healing a fracture and healing the leg, then you actually have to let the whole animation go, or you're only going to heal it and not heal the fracture. If it's trying to stop a bleed and heal something and you cancel the animation, it's not going to do that. But if you kind of master the timing around that, at least while it's in the game, I'm not sure if they're going to change that, then you can kind of get the best of both worlds. It is something else to be thinking about in a firefight, is like, oh wait, did I cancel it at the right spot? But it is something that you can save time when you don't need it, and then save time by just letting the whole animation go when you do need to do one of these other things as well. So it's definitely interesting. I'm definitely, 5 seconds, it's kind of crazy how on paper, right, when doing research for this video, you're like, oh, it's only a 2-second difference. 2 seconds is no time at all. And then I ran Grizzlies a few times, and it's definitely something that you have to get used to. The extra 2 seconds can feel like an eternity, and it definitely makes things a little bit harder when you panic heal in a firefight. I really think that this has more uses than people think it does, but you kind of have to really be able to keep your cool in a firefight, because a lot of times if we get shot at, if we panic and heal instead of reload, maybe we should have reloaded because we need an extra mag, somebody's pushing us, and we don't really need to heal. We've got a light bleed, but it's not that bad. It's one of those things where if you panic heal instead of reload, or you're not really thinking, or you hear somebody pushing you, you can get caught in some rough situations while you're trying to heal, while you're trying to finish up that animation. But it's definitely something worth testing out and trying out, because it potentially saves you money in not having to buy additional things. It potentially saves you time. It potentially saves you kind of know that all you have to do is click your heal and not have to worry about if it's a heavy bleed, if it's a light bleed, if you have a fracture associated. You can just heal. You're never really worried about burning through it and then bringing backup meds. even just Saluas or IFAKs, you can oftentimes just burn through that in a raid. That's why I keep an extra IFAK in my secure container. You're never really worried about burning through anything. So the Grizzly definitely, I think, has some potential. You do have to keep it in that 4 slot though, which can be pretty frustrating. So there are definitely more options than there ever have been for rigs, whether they're armored or not, with the 2x2s. A lot of the armored rigs do. The TV-110s are really popular, the AVSs, even the AACPCs have a 4 slot, and then a lot of non-armored rigs as well. So this is more common than it's ever been. And so I think when you add that all together, I would say it's definitely worth a try and see if you can get used to that animation and used to working that in. This is just one of those things where I like looking at the game and seeing what do I do all the time? What does everybody kind of do? And is there a better way to do it that's been like lying under our noses? So definitely not saying it's meta. I'll still flip-flopping back and forth between doing what I know and trying this out. But hopefully this just added some perspective, whether you're going at it from the budget and you just want to save money in the long term, or just making ease of use in raid and you're willing to pay that premium up front, you know, risking that you might die with it and have lost it. So hopefully this helped. Hopefully this kind of opened up some new perspective about the Grizzly, and maybe you test it out and find out that you love using the Grizzly as your med kit in Escape from Tarkov. Thank you so much, as always, for taking the time to check out this video. If you like this video, it would mean a lot if you could drop a like, comment down below, or subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Like we said earlier, I stream Escape from Tarkov on Twitch. All my links will be down below. I'd love to have you stop by and say hey. And if you're looking for people to play Tarkov with, our Discord is an awesome, awesome place to be. That link is down below as well. Thank you again for stopping by, and I'll definitely see y'all on the next one.